An 11-year-old boy is competing not with other kids but with a grown man for his own mother's love. Silsa lives with his mother, but emotionally he completely alone. She is physically present in the house yet always unavailable. Men constantly come and go, taking up all her time, attention and energy. The house feels less like a family space and more like a place Silsa doesn't belong. He watches her laugh with stranger. He watches her give them attention. But to him, she gave almost nothing. And that's where the pain begins. Silsa doesn't fully understand what his mother does. But he understands one thing very clearly. Other men matter more than him. He starts observing everything. How those men talk, how they act, and how they get close to her. Because in his mind, there is a simple connection. They get her attention, so they must be important. And deep inside, he forms a heartbreaking desire. I want to be important to her too. This is where the emotional conflict deepens. He doesn't get jealous like other adult. He is confused like a child. He doesn't understand boundaries, relationship or morality. All he understands is attention is love and he is not getting any. So his young mind start building a dangerous idea. Maybe if I become like those men, she will love me the same way. And he begins to try to step into that role, not out of desire, but out of desperation. And there are the moments where he tries to get closer to his mother in a way that feels deeply uncomfortable to watch. But what makes it tragedy is this, he doesn't know what's wrong and he only know he wants her attention. Every action is driven by a child's need for affection and twisted by involvement he is growing up. And here comes the most painful part. His mother doesn't notice what's happening inside him. So she is so consumed by her own life that she misses a child's cry for love right in front of her. He doesn't acting out of loudly. He is breaking quietly. No guidance, no boundaries, no emotional connection. And because of that, he is left to figure out love by all himself. And here's the one point he tries to prove he can be a man, not because he wants to grow up, but because he believes that's the only way to win his mother's heart. But instead of getting love, he met with a reality that feels empty and cold. The connection he hoped for never comes. In this one story, it shows a son fighting for his mother's love, and the next one goes even deeper into a relationship where a stepmother and stepson are left alone, and everything begins to blur. Now let's move to the next movie, Sub Rosa. What happens when a boy raised under the control and fear and suddenly get a taste of freedom and crosses a line that can never be done? We meet Alan, a quiet teenage boy living under the strict rules of his father Estano. Estano is not just strict, he is emotionally harsh, constantly pushing Alan to be a man. But instead of building strength, his method creates fear, confusion, and deep emotional isolation. Alan doesn't have a normal father son relationship. There is no warmth, no support, only pressure, criticism, and control. And that's there his stepmother, Ella. Unlike Esthano, she is gentle, caring, and emotionally present. She is the only person in the house who treats Alan like a human being, not like a project. And that's the difference, and that changes everything. One day, Esthano leaves town for the few days, leaving alone Alan with his stepmother. At first, everything feels different. House is quieter, pressure is gone, and for the first time, he experienced something close to peace. And stepmother continues to being kind to him, talking, caring, and showing attention he has never truly received before. But for Alan, this isn't just a comfort. It becomes something deeper and more dangerous. Years of emotional neglect begin to twist his understanding of love, connection, and boundaries. As the day passes, the bond between Alan and stepmother grows closer. what starts as an emotional support slowly becomes complicated. He begins to misinterpret stepmother's kindness. To him, it feels like affection, maybe even love. And here the turning point. He doesn't just feel something, he acts on it. The film doesn't rely on a loud drama. Instead, it builds quiet tension, making every glance, every moment feel uncomfortable and intense. And you realize this isn't just a story about rebellion, it's about a boy trying to reclaim control in the only way he understands. And then the father returns. Everything changes again. But this time, the Alan is the not same boy. Something inside him has shifted. The fear is still there, but now it mixes with defense. Alan no longer wants to be controlled. In a subtle but a powerful way, he begins to challenge his father, not through violence but through behavior, attitude, and unspoken truth of what happened during his absence. Now there is a psychological power struggle now. Estano senses something is off, but he can't fully grasp it, and that uncertainty becomes his weakness. By the end, the film doesn't give you a clear answer, it leaves you with discomfort. Alan has crossed a line, but in his mind, it's a step towards independence and a twisted version of becoming a man shaped by his father's own harsh ideology. And in the end, the real question isn't about Alan what did, it who made him in this way.